What's up, YouTube? Today I'm doing more lighting for the layout. This one's going to be in the foreground compared to the lights that I just did on the last video for the docks, which were tucked up underneath a roof line of the old warehouse. What I'm doing is a sign for the Big Blue Industry on the front of Section 3. And of course, since I built the layout, I didn't know what the industry was going to be. I just knew that it had to be on the layout somewhere. So been racking my brain trying to figure out what I wanted. And I tried thinking about, when I was driving general freight, if I went to a building that looked like this, what would I service? A lot of the times what was coming up in my head was a wood product, a finished wood product. And so I got to thinking about some sort of cabinetry. You know, maybe they're a cabinet builder, they're mid-size, you know. I got to thinking about, all right, well, what should the name be? And I decided to settle on Midwest Moldings and Cabinets. I asked AI to write up or make a sign for Midwest Moldings. Printed it out. Didn't really size it too well. I just said, you know, scale it down to whatever, 75% or whatever. If I'm using the scale ruler, we're looking at approximately a 10-foot wide sign by about 5 foot tall, roughly, which is about right. That really works out because I'm going to be using two of these again. Now, in the last video when I used these, the section of lighting is approximately 8 scale foot, and then we've got these little nubs. can't hold it. I don't want to squeeze it too hard, and these are cheap tweezers. But yeah, you can see how long the little posts are. They are about a scale, almost 1.5 foot. So you're looking at, you know, about 12 foot right there, 11 foot, 12 foot, something like that. So when I put the sign up to it, it virtually matches perfect. So what I've already done is I've cut some of the plastic from the window kits, held it up against my little sign, got the size, scored it about 3 or 4 times, and then I took some nippers, and these things are pretty good. Just took that, snapped it in half. I mean, they're pretty easy. Just make sure that you score it well enough. Then you won't have any breakage aside from what you want to break. Then I took some of the styrene that I had used previously for the other lights. It's, I think, like the 0.01. It's like the thinnest. I mean, it's not the thinnest, I know that, but it's the really thin one. Cut that out to the same size as the plastic, or as what I'll call glass, the clear section. So that will be the back of the sign, and then I'll have the clear on the front. And then I'm going to take some of the thicker stuff. I don't know how thick this is, but it is definitely thicker. And I will cut the sides of the sign out of this. Anyways, enough waffling. Let's get to work. All right, so I'm going to try to awkwardly do this. I need, what am I going to need? I'm going to need two of each. I'm going to need 2 this length and then 2 this length, right? That's all I'm going to need. So what I'm going to do is figure out what I did with my pen over here. I'm going to use this because that's the original cut size. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these rudimentary, I don't know how much of that you can see, but I've just got that squared off. So that way I get it as square and as perfect as I can. I'm going to go like that. You know what? I'm just going to go like that too, because that will give me pretty much everything that I'm going to need, I believe. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this out here. That way I can get rid of this big piece and have it not in my way, and I can get a little bit more accurate with things. All right, so I think I've got my pieces cut here. Hopefully I did it right. I had to cut these two a little shorter, so that way everything is the square like that. I'll revisit that in a second. I needed to measure exactly how everything went, so I had to solder these two together. So I just bent the, let me get my fat fingers out of there. I just bent the little points on a 90-degree, and then this one here was the one that I broke the other day. And like I said, it still works. It's just it had a shorter little point. This one's positive, this one's negative, so they'll be wired in series. Have the wires come in one side through the lights and then out the other side. So those ones are bent in a 90. I haven't done the bottom yet, but they should fit within here. And then this is where I might need to revisit the sizes of this, because I've cut these so that they glue on top of this. But I've got to look at how wide it is, even with these bends, with the wires in here, if I have enough room, or if I'm going to have to put these on the outside like that instead of up on top like that, which will change the dynamics because these were cut wide enough for these. So I'm going to take a look at that here in a second. All right, so I have my lights together, the plastic glass, the sign I have over here. I've got my top and bottom two sides. I did have to recut them because it just was not going to fit gluing them on the top rather than the sides. So I've also drilled some holes that line up fairly well with these. Can't quite hold the camera and do this at the same time. These are upside down, but anyway, you get the idea. I will be soldering wires onto that and then poking them through later on. Right now I'm just going to try to glue these things on and get that set, and then once it's set I'm going to wait, let it make sure it cures, let it dry, and then I'm going to paint it black. The inside I'm not. I'm going to leave it white. It's just going to be the outside that I end up painting black. Right, we are doing good. So far I'm really happy with the way it's turning out. These little legs here, they're not going to stay on there. I just cut them longer than what I needed just because I needed to get them cut. So once everything is dry, I will snip those off very easily. Everything is pretty flat. I've got a little bit of a hump here. I should be able to snip that or even file it off once everything is set and bonded. But yeah, everything is looking good. Once it is dry later on today, I will take it off of here. Right now it seems like it's sticking to it, but it shouldn't be perma stuck because I'm using Plastruct, styrene and ABS plastic solvent. So I think it's just got a little bit of grip right now, which is fine because everything is holding together. I'm sure once I decide I want to take it off later on, it'll come off this metal, no problem. And once again, sorry about the audio. Don't have the mic in. I decided to kind of rush because I always do. But the cure time is only about a half hour. This is why it was so stuck to the metal. It was able to come off easy, but it acted like like a cement. But it was nice because it left it tacky enough that I could pull it off, but it also kept everything together. So I didn't realize I put so much on there, but nonetheless, it is a nice looking box to me. I've clipped the ends and put some tape on the inside because, like I said, I do want to keep this as white on the inside as I can to reflect as much light out as I can. So the outside of the frame on the front, sides, and back will now be turning black. I just noticed I have a little bit of a cut there, but that's on the bottom back side. Yeah, so it will sit like this. So that's the top. So that's on the bottom. I think I did that on purpose because there was that little nick there. So I'm going to get out some black paint and paint this little guy now. All right, hopefully the compressor in the background isn't going to be too noisy. My quote-unquote spray booth. I'm already coughing. I haven't sprayed anything. Turns out that I already had a dark color mixed up. It's got some light gray in it, lighter gray in it, but and the lighting in this room sucks right now. Sorry, I only have a little bit of light on, but it's virtually a black. It's a little lighter than black, which is fine because that gives a little bit of age to the sign itself. So I've gone ahead and poured some in my cup here, and we got some spray. So I'm just going to grab and start working on it. Alright, so I can't remember. This is the next day. I can't remember where I left off in the video. So, yeah, forgive me if this is all information I've already told. But painted the box, and then after I painted it, I clear coated it. So we are ready to move on to the next step, which is going to be soldering these together. So I'm going to cut off some wire, which I've got in this box here. And as I said, I had it on Amazon. I'll have to try to remember to link this one, but that's the name of it, and it's on the back here. It's 22 AWG wire. You can probably just look that up. I want to say this was $17. I can't remember for sure, but it comes with 5 or 6 different rolls of wire. You can see that they've got a little diagram there. I don't know how, I can't remember how long it was. I don't know if 9M means 9 meters or whatever it is, but there's a considerable amount of wire on those. So, all right, so I have the lights soldered up, and I was about to put them in the sign, but I thought, you know what? I'm going to have a hard time lining up these holes. I don't want to make a giant hole here wherever I'm going to put it. So I thought before I do anything, I should take the sign, lay it down where it's going to be, and then just take the drill and drill the holes through the building and get that ready. So I think I'm going to put it over the door here. I thought about putting it like over here. I don't know. I think I like it better kind of over the door here like this. So I'm going to line it up. I'm going to drill the holes, and then I'm going to put the light inside. All right, well, I would be massively lying if I didn't say this was not a pain in my rear. Those there should pretty much tell you. I don't remember what this one was. That might have been one of them. This one here, I think, didn't work at all. This one was the match to that one. These were my original ones. And I snapped off something, and then I did these ones, and that one I think snapped. Yeah, this one snapped right in half. So there you go, there's that. So I might be able to salvage that one, but this one here didn't work at all. So yeah, but the problem is I built my tolerances way too tight. I just, but they're in there and they work. Let's go test it out. All right, so there we go. It's pretty bright. I think it'll work. That's all I can say. My camera's falling, so I'm going to wrap this clip. All right, I am not about to lie. I almost gave up on this thing multiple times. The tolerances that I've made for it were just way too tight, and things kept breaking, solderings kept coming off, had everything great, had everything tested, decided to just run a quick wire and get to this part of the video, and the blue line came off of the, it was just a mess. So but I finally do have it all done. So it's a mess in there. I don't ever want to have to open that up again, but if I do, I do, I guess. So I got the clear acrylic piece over the piece of paper, cut that out. Piece of paper is now on the back side of that that acrylic piece. And yeah, my brain's frazzled right now. So let me plug the wire in, and then we'll get a day and night shot a little bit better. All right, so there we go. Now if I turn the daylight off, you can see where they are. You can see the top one is kind of on an angle, and the bottom one is actually broken, which was the last struggle that I had. At first it wasn't working. I kind of wiggled it, and the right half was working. The left half wasn't, and I wiggled it some more, and it's in there. It's fine. It's working. I don't know if I can get it to darken enough to really show you exactly where they are, but you can kind of see. So yeah, it's on there. Now I can't unfocus. There we go. Whatever. There we go, I guess. You get the basic idea. Anyways, I'm going to wrap this video up. Thank you so much for watching, and happy railroading.